I thank you very much for tuning into That Will Nevr Work podcast. My guest is one half of the only leap day identical twin duo in the world running a digital agency. And building the sky floor together since 2008 without a single outside hire, external investor, or junior team member. And for over 17 years, he and his brother, Alan, have grown 15% or more annually by doing something that defies every hustle culture playbook. Staying intentionally small, charging for outcomes instead of hours, and turning down more clients than most agencies ever land. I thank you very much for listening. Let's talk about it a little bit right after this.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Nevr Work, an award-winning podcast where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
So my guest today, we're not going to go into his bio. You'll be able to read it. All his links will be in the description, so we don't have to give all that. But what I will say, he's unconventional, strategic, a contrarian, he's disciplined, a builder, a storyteller, and as you also heard, a twin. And I have not had too many of those on this particular show. So I thank y'all very much for listening today. And my guest today, his name is Joel Miller. Thank you very much for coming on to the show.
Thanks for so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Sure, no problem. So you've been in business since 2008.
Yep.
You know, you've grown every year. You've hit $500,000 revenue mark with just you and your brother. And so let's look at it from this perspective, right? At what point did you realize that the conventional path, where everybody's telling you need to scale and hire more people, was probably actually the most dangerous decision someone could make, even in your position?
I mean, for us, it was looking at other agencies because they were inviting us in to do some white label work, right? A lot of them don't have some of that like practitioners in what we're skilled at. So they hired us and we're watching what they're doing from very early on and thinking, this doesn't look like a great customer service experience for a lot of their clients. Because we got to see the inner workings, right? We got to see this game of, I always say it's like a game of telephone, right? Your kids get around the table and they play it and they're like, whatever they said to begin with, it always gets to the last thing and it's potty talk. Well, it almost kind of happens for clients that way because it's like you can tell I have kids, but but the client asks for something and it goes to the project manager, goes to the designer, then to the developer, and something gets lost in all that translation. And then a lot of times the outcome isn't actually what the client needed or wanted. And so we just looked at that and went, I don't know if that's for us.
And so I want you to expand upon that because you're talking about someone's process. And it appears, we hear this term a lot, bottlenecks, right? We hear that term, right? You know, so as you're looking at these clients and or other business models, you determine at some point in time you didn't want that type of bottleneck in your company. Because it sounds like that's a hindrance, or it could be a level of procrastination also. So, talk about that idea.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because a lot of people look at our business and they think 2 people, that's a bottleneck, right? What happens if, they come up with all these scenarios? Will you have enough time for me? Will you, if there's an emergency, whatever. And it's interesting. I like that you brought up bottlenecks because I actually see it and saw it the opposite way a lot of times where there's a bottleneck of scale when it comes to the customer service, the promise that the agency is giving to the client. And for us, we're really passionate about forging partnerships. I was actually just working on a little private CRM for us, and I had it query our QuickBooks and pull back the length of relationships. And our average client relationship is 5 years, and our longest standing client right now is 11 years. So there's a lot to be said for forging those partnerships. And we see a lot of churn and burn with the traditional agency model because it fails on the customer service promise so often. And really that's what it comes down to a lot of times. People, they care if they get what they paid for, of course, but underpinning all of that, they want to feel like they're in a partnership with their vendors.
Right.
They want to feel like they're on the same team. And if things are getting dropped a lot and no one takes real ownership over it. And you only talk to the owner when things are going wrong. Then,
right.
It has a limited lifespan typically.
So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and then another like layer of that was looking at what happened to, and we saw it a couple of times, but during COVID especially, all of our friends who own 15, 25 member agencies, they had to cut a lot of people.
Right.
Those years, our business grew, but even the slightest hint of drawbacks from their clients meant I have to let go 10 of my staff. And it's like, and that's fine because that comes with the territory.
Right.
But again, for us, and maybe this like parlays into the how you price and the hourly billing trap, but we looked at it and we just go, one, we don't want to like deal with that. Not because we don't like people. I love people, but I don't want to like manage that part of it. And I also don't want to be like a glorified temp agency, basically, where it's like I hire on staff. They have their hourly rate, typically, even if it's a salary. We break it down that way. Usually agencies do. And then I have to charge the client an hourly rate, which is usually why big agencies use something along those lines, because they want to know when I break down the contract that there's profit margin on their people's time. I'm like, well, you're just an employment agency. You're not actually, I don't know. We didn't want to do that. I want to talk to you. I want to partner with our clients and solve their problems.
So I'm going to be honest. One word comes to mind as I'm listening to you speak: stability.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're going to use the idea of what you just mentioned about the pandemic, right?
Right.
There was a lot of uncertainty, instability, all those type of things. But it sounds like you built something that was, again, we think unconventional because just you and your brother, but there's a level of stability and peace because with the stability comes a little bit of peace. So how important was that for you also as you have been growing and building up these relationships? Because sometimes we miss that idea of stability.
Right. I think you're right on. I mean, when we keep very low overhead because of how we're arranged. Obviously, we don't have all these employees to deal with. We had an office at one point. It was like just like a shared space, but we got rid of that. So we were kind of uniquely positioned in the COVID era because we were already had clients all across the country, and we did a lot of calls and video meetings with them already. Now, the one thing that changed with that was some of them were starting to fly us around the country, and
that's unstable.
That stopped. And honestly, I'm glad that COVID opened up, took off the sheet. I don't know, the blockers from people's because that's such a disruption. I mean, if someone's listening to this and they're like, I need Joel in person, that's fine. You'll pay for it. But but the point is yes, we were able to be stable in a unique way because we didn't have to shift our team around. It was just the two of us. So when our clients are coming to us, they know who they're getting still. They're bringing their retractions, their issues, their instability to us. And we're not saying, oh, I'm so sorry, but your project manager's gone. Or I'm so sorry, but the three main people on your account are gone. It's like, we still are here. And because of that, we're offering them stability. And maybe that is a kind of a little secret key to why we actually grew that year instead of retracting.
And so with that, talking about stability, because unfortunately, when you speak about the idea of hourly billing, I know of that feeling, right?
Yeah.
And so that can feel unstable as well. It can feel soft, unstable ground, and so with that, how is that a trap? Because a lot of times we don't know our true value or worth in a situation. So because we're coming out of corporate America, we're used to that, hearing the hourly rate. So how is that a trap especially for those that's just venturing into entrepreneurship?
Yeah. I mean, the number one thing is that the better you get at what you do, the more efficient you get at what you do, the less money you make, or you have to be a liar. Now, and then if you become a liar, to put it bluntly, I could see telling yourself a story and it being a true thing to be like, well, yeah, it only took me an hour, but I'm really providing 3 hours of value in dollar. Now you're already admitting that hourly billing is broken as a mechanism to determine value, right? Because because you're having to fudge those numbers. So just get away from it. Go like, well, the dollar amount that I think this is worth is the real price. And we do this with almost everything else in life. You know, you don't go around in the grocery store and try to determine how many human hours it took to produce the carton of eggs you buy, or you don't go to the car dealership and do the same thing. How many man hours did it take to assemble this thing and R&D it? And
right.
You know, like it doesn't make any sense. You buy the thing, like you go, it's worth it to me at this price. Now, as a business or a contractor or service provider, it's your job to figure out what the client is getting, what the outcome they're getting is worth to them. And you do that from the first conversation. And then you're able to charge a good price for yourself that's divorced from the hourly billing, right? And they don't have to take on the risk. That's one of the most powerful ways we made that transition. I don't know, 14 years ago, was starting to say, look, I don't want you to take on the risk of how much time it takes me, right? That's my job to figure out. And so, but if you can determine what they're getting out of it, you can charge a great price for you and something that's profitable to them, and both parties win.
So as someone that's going into entrepreneurship, sometimes we don't understand what a project, how many man hours is going to take for a project.
Right.
So how do we understand how to price that correctly? If, you know, and I'll just use a website design because that's part of my background. And a lot of times a client will say, hey, let's say the project's $1,000 because we underpriced ourselves, right?
Yeah, sure. Right. Oh yeah. Are you kidding? I've been there.
You know, we underpriced ourselves, and then we know that, hey, for a 5-page website, you know, it's $1,000. It could take us maybe, let's say, 2 days.
Right.
This is a really difficult client, and now it's 30 days, and they still want that $1,000. So how do we adjust to that? How do we price ourselves correctly to even consider those moments? Yeah,
and this answer is you're going to get it wrong sometimes, right? And so you have to. The key, I mean, you don't want to be super wrong. And luckily, honestly, these days, and I don't want to like go down the AI road really, but one thing that all of the models are really good at, because I've polled them on this, is coming up with kind of a fair market rate for work. And it's really actually pretty good at coming up with project-based pricing for that. Now, it's not going to know unless you tell it what the value you're producing is worth to the client. That's still up to you to figure out. And so I guess I would go 2 ways with this. One, you're going to get it wrong. So know that's going to happen sometimes. But as you do that, develop, keep your eyes open, write things down, develop a sense for those factors so that you can see them next time and price it better. But also, if you do a good enough job of determining what the value is, there should be so much margin that you're not getting screwed, right? So like if you were to tell 2008 Joel what we charge some of our clients now, sometimes for a website, I would think you were off your rocker. Like I'd be like, what? That's, 20 times more than I ever could have imagined. And what that allows us to do, and this is a way that we look at it that you're not going to probably find in most people saying, but I believe in it. I believe people over profits. So, but in order to do that, you have to be profitable. And so if I charge a really good amount for us, I'm able to be more generous with my client. Now, what does that mean? And then other people too in my sphere. But what that means to me is that I don't have to nickel and dime them. I don't have to get upset about every little thing or even a little scope creep. Unpopular opinion. When you're charging the right amount, a little bit of scope creep can be a yes. And then you just blow them away on the customer service side because they go, are you sure that's not more? And you go, no, I've been doing this long enough. I know I already priced this to give you a partnership relationship. And that becomes the kind of thing they talk to other people about. So like, it's a little bit esoteric because it's like, again, it has to be based on, if you can't in plain terms, if you can't guide the client to understand what's going to be different from the work you're doing and therefore what the monetary value is to them, you're not going to be able to price yourself effectively. So what do I mean? Like, and it doesn't always work perfectly like this, but if you can get them to do the thought experiment, what changes in a year or 5 years if we do this work, they should be able to say, well, we're struggling with this thing. I think it's going to be, let's just call it $100,000 in additional profit. if you redo my website and it gets more people in the door. Okay, great. Now I can charge you $50,000 and your return on investment is 100%. Like everyone's going to press that button.
Right.
Because if you can do a marketing or advertising spend that you know is going to double what you spent, you will always do that. And they'll think you're a genius, and that might be more than, you ever dreamed of getting on a project. So that's like, and then if you have that $50,000, right, they can be, I don't want to soapbox for too long here, but there can be that scope. There can be a lot of flexibility within that. Right. Mm-hmm. And I want to say one other thing before I don't want to overtake, but I feel like I'm just getting on a roll. Because it's like people, they also worry, what about the hard client? And I'm just going to say, I mean, we've all had that. Right? Yeah. 2 tricks for that. If you're listening to this and you do this kind of work, one, if you see a lot of red flags, definitely say no. Right? Mm-hmm. That's option number 1. Mm-hmm. But another option, if you're like feeling like, oh man, I need the work or whatever it's going on in your world, charge more then. Just bump that. Get ready to price it like you normally would, and then add 25%. Right. And honestly, like pick a number that's worth it for the pain you think might happen. Mm-hmm. And the worst case scenario is you have to deal with a little bit of trouble, but you also learn something about where the real floor and ceiling is of your marketplace. Or they get to say no to you, which I honestly think when it comes to how people talk about your business it's a better situation to be in, because they probably still believe in you in some way. So they're going to tell people, well, it wasn't a fit, or they were a little bit too expensive for me. That actually is okay for people to say. Right. They were good. I couldn't quite do it this time. Instead of you saying no, now there's a no in the world that they go, I don't know, they just told me no. Right.
But see, I think there's a thing that you're pulling up again. My one word idea. Excuse me. This word is confidence, right? Yeah. Because am I confident enough, one, to say no to somebody, especially if I feel like I need the money? Right. Sometimes we feel like we're our self-esteem or whatever else is so low that, hey, you know what, we need this money. Yeah. But then also the confidence to price that number and be comfortable in that number, because I know my experience has been as I might have a number in mind, but then the potential client comes to me and say, you know what, let's negotiate this. And so now now I'm unsure on what that is and what that number should really look like. And that's why I use that $1,000 number for websites, because that's where I was at one time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And not taking into account that I actually went to school for that. And I've been doing website stuff since we were using Microsoft Front Page. So that's so Front Page. Yeah,
when a table wasn't just something you ate off of.
Right.
They were nested.
And so I have the background, but unfortunately we don't realize really what we know and what the real value is. And because everything's so fast paced, this person, because we know that they're trying to price gouge, price match, all that type of stuff. How do I get that level of confidence to either say no, to negotiate, all that type of stuff?
Right. I mean, and it can totally be a race to the bottom, right? You look out there, and it's kind of, I think the fascinating thing to me is I look out and I'm like, there's so many ways to get some of this work now. I mean, you have Upwork and Freelancer and Fiverr and all these places. And yet during all of that, we're still charging more and more for some of these services. Mm-hmm. And so you really start to realize, and I guess I have to come back to the value of it all. If you can't tell me right now why someone should hire you over someone on Upwork, then you're going to have a hard time convincing the client of that too. And so you have to know that to build the confidence. Because if you're just like trying to shoot fish in a barrel, right? You're not going to, it's just, I hope something hits and lands. So you don't have to like come up with something that's set in stone for the rest of your business, but but start workshopping why you're a little bit different, right? So for me, to give an example, it's pitching this idea of a long-term partnership and that we're problem solvers who help you get to your next goal, and we'll help you even determine what that is. Those two things are such a big differentiator when we talk to people, and they're just getting, churned out proposals from these big agencies. And then we come in and I ask tons of good questions. I don't even talk about, my goal on an initial call is to hear them talk 70% of the time. I'm not there to give speeches. I'm there to ask questions. It's an interview.
Right.
And that just immediately feels different to them. And that sets up this foundation for, yes, we're partners. Yes, we're trying to figure out what you need, want, or may not even know you need and want, but I'm going to strategically help you get there. And so that's it for us. So I don't know what it is for the person listening, but if you can't define those things, you won't have the confidence to prove your value, to bring that out. So start there, define that, figure out what it is, see what lands when you talk to your audience, and then refine it, because it's not always, it may not work forever. You may be like, say the one thing on a call live that you just like, it just came out and all of a sudden the person goes, oh, it really resonated with them. Oh, now bring that in more. See if that's the thread that works. So I don't know. It's a little bit of a living, breathing thing, but like once you do that, then you can walk into a situation and go, I know I'm worth it. So, and when you start projecting that, people think it's true.
And so before we go, I want you to answer one question for me, and then transition this into where people can find you. You keep talking about partnerships, right? And so what is that definition for you? Maybe even give an example of what it looks like for you. And then if you can, let everybody know where they can find you so they can partner with you.
Yeah, right. Partnership to me means that we are part of the client's team. I want the best outcome for them just like they do. So I'm not just in there to get the check. I'm like, no, I believe in where we're headed together. And then that there can be honesty back and forth. So I'm not going to say, okay, let's say we're running Google ads for a client. It's not going well. I'm going to show up to that meeting instead of just spinning it, which is possible. We all know you can do that. Right. I'm going to say, it didn't do what we thought it was going to do. Here's my plan to move forward. My next assumption, it's informed, but we're going to test it and iterate from there. Having that kind of like a confidence again in what you do and what you offer, but then the humility to say, you know what, it didn't do what I thought. No sacred cows. This idea was dead. It didn't work. Let's try something else. If you build a pattern of doing that, you're building a partnership. And then you want your client to do that with you too.
So where can people partner with you? Where can they find your information, all that stuff?
theskyfloor.com. That's our business name. And there's blogs there. You can see some of my other podcast appearances, and then subscribe or go to the start button and say hi. I'd love to talk with you and see how we can partner.
Excuse me. Nice. I'm sorry. I'm dealing with my allergies. I apologize.
Oh my goodness. Lately. Oh yeah.
So I'm being honest right now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
But Joe, I thank you very much for coming on to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Sure, of course. And so, but before I let you go, you got to answer the question,
That's
bro.
Right. That's right. That's
right. So
I guess I picked the other door. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. The one where you just tried to leave.
I know, right? So would you rather choose 3 doors or the fork in the road?
Oof. I've been subconsciously mulling this since you gave me the preview. And I think I could make an argument for either one. Of course, also my hypothetical brain is like, can you give me some rules around this? Because what if the fork in the road isn't a binary choice? It's just like the left side is just like a little bit better than the right side. Now, if it's a true fork in the road, I think I might pick that one. So you're about to get way too much of my brain, because at least it's like I can go down this path or another path, and they're going to go in 2 directions, and I get to figure out which one worked after I choose, right? So I like that kind of like less options. But then when I think of the 3 doors, I think, man, there might be even more opportunities here because there's more starting points. So to me, I'm not, I don't know, I guess I'm not landing somewhere. I'm going to go I think I'm going to go 3 doors actually.
You think so?
I'm going to go 3 doors because we can make something of almost any opportunity. And so the 3 doors to me are open-ended opportunities. The traditional fork in the road is this way or that way. And I'd rather have some open opportunities to make work than I'd have to make a binary choice.
So here's where I'm going to maybe give you an idea because of what other guests have mentioned, right?
Yeah.
So one guest said, Maurice, there's a fork in the road. You're saying a fork in the road. But there's a third option. I'm going to just go straight through. Forget your fork. I'm just going to go straight through. But I mean,
there might be a forest there, but that's fine. If he's got a machete, he's good.
Right. And then with the 3 doors, who says that they're not glass?
Yeah, right.
So you can at least see. Now I did have that guest that said, hey, if there's lions back there, I don't care if there's lions over here with the doors or if there's snakes over here with the road. I don't want to go through neither one. I'm going to stand right here in this one spot. So I've had so many different answers with that.
I mean, I appreciate that, but you got to move forward, right?
Right.
I think I'm solidly landing on 3 doors.
Okay.
Because again, I think you stand there, you've got, and I like the glass door idea. I think you just have there's more opportunity, more chances there. And the forks in the road are great for when you've got a tipping point. But 3 doors are better when you're just seeking opportunities for what's next.
Nice. Joel, man, thank you very much, man. That was a good answer, bro.
Hey, you can probably tell I like thinking about things and trying to express them. So.
Oh, no, and that's fine. Because no one has done that on the show like that. So I appreciate that. Cool. But thank you for sharing, bro.
All right. Thank you for having me.
And of course, y'all, thank y'all very much for listening to That Will Nevr Work podcast. Joe's information will be in the show notes, and no matter what door you choose, it's going to be in the show notes. So, and so one thing I want to leave y'all with, of course, right, my challenge. I need you to do one thing on purpose. Identify one place in your business where you've been executing without a clear strategy. Before you do anything else this week, I want you to stop. Write down what success actually looks like for that one thing. Then decide if what you've been doing is moving you toward that target or just keeping you busy. Now, thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to y'all just a little bit later.
Thanks for listening. Follow Maurice Chisholm on social media to stay connected and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work. Or will it?